Sports presents.
Man, I'm still out here, man, trying to see if I can go catch a football because I think the Bears might need a new wide receiver, G-Sizzle.
Well, you know, if they need a new receiver, then maybe they ought to call Young Sheldon, because I'm watching Young Sheldon and I'm liking it. I'm loving it. Let's get ready to start the show.
You're listening to the Sizzle, the talk of the 219, the hottest sports talk in the region, on Iron Skillet Radio and Iron Skillet Television.
You know who it is. You know what it is. It's the Sizzle here on Iron Skillet Radio, Iron Skillet Television. I'm your host, G Sizzle. He's Jay Sizzle, and we're in the building. Jay, did you watch the NFL playoff with the Chicago Bears and the New Orleans Saints?
You know, every game I watched was fun and interesting. The games yesterday were fun and interesting. And I was on Facebook while I was watching the Bears game.
Okay. Wait. Oh, you were watching the Bears game on Facebook?
No, I was on Facebook trying to see if they had any new cat videos coming out, because that's just how uninterested this game was to watch.
Okay, so let me give you a quick breakdown of the box score. Mitchell Trubisky threw for 19 out of 29 attempts for 199 yards and 1 touchdown. David Montgomery, 12 carries for 31 yards. And Allen Robinson, 6 receptions for 55 yards. That was the bad. The really good was Drew Brees. Oh, my goodness. He threw for 26 out of 39 passes for 265 yards, 2 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara, 23 carries for 99 yards and 1 touchdown. And somebody, I have no clue who this young man is, Bud Harris came out of nowhere with 7 receptions for 83 yards. And that is your Bears tragedy.
Yeah, that's supposed to respond to that.
Yeah, you can't respond to that. How are you supposed to respond to that, Jay? I mean, how do you? Okay, all right. I'm not going to start 2021 in a funky mood. I'm not going to do it. You're going to think I'm going to be like, come on. I'm going to get wild. I'm going to get crazy. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to say this game was made really exciting by watching Nickelodeon. Yeah. Okay. So I couldn't get the audio feed, so I couldn't hear on the CBS feed, or I don't know if it was on Fox. So my television redirected me to the Nickelodeon feed.
Okay.
Yeah. And I watched the game on the inaugural NFL on Nickelodeon.
I should have went to that because they showed a quick blip of that, and when Drew Brees, when the Saints scored a touchdown, all the slop went up in the air and all the different colors. I bet you. So was it fun watching the game over there, sir?
Oh man, it was a slime fest. And okay, so on the call, just so everybody knows, I mean the call was how can I put it? It was amazing. Okay, it was Noah Eagle and Nate Burleson. All right. They were your color commentators. They were your straight men. They were your NFL people. But then there was this amazing young lady. And I want to make sure I have her name right. It's Gabriella Neve Green. Now, she's a host and she's a regular on Nickelodeon shows.
Okay.
She's 15, but she was amazing. Like, she was amazing. Not that she had great color analysts, not that it was really great theater. It was just like watching the game with your daughter, watching the game with your little sister. And she was into it, and it was fun. And I mean, it was Nickelodeon. It was like a kid's version of the NFL.
Did she know any football, or was it just like, hey, why do the other man keep putting his hands between the other man's legs like that? Why do they do that?
No, she was a child. She was a child, and we're not going to ask about the legs, in between the legs. But what it was Nickelodeon's version of showing you what football is. It's telling you about football from a young person's perspective. So for young people, for the younger ones, the youngins, it was really teaching them. And they had little clips by Young Sheldon, the actor who plays Young Sheldon from the CBS sitcom. He was telling you like what was offsides, what was rushing the quarterback. He would come in with little blurbs. It was really fun. Like they showed you what the red zone was, and then when you got into the touchdown zone, you got the slime zone. It was really, look, man, it was really fun. Like it was what you could watch with a whole family. Your wife, your grandmother, your auntie and uncle, and the kids. Everybody could watch it and have fun with it. And shout out to you, Nate Burleson, because you did your thing. I never thought much of you as a receiver, primarily because you were a Detroit Lion. But you have proven through the NFL Network, through CBS, and now with Nickelodeon that you are official. So salute you. Shout out to you. Yeah, that's how I feel. Oh, are we supposed to talk about the game?
If you're trying to convince me that you thoroughly enjoyed the Nickelodeon version of this game, that just tells you how bad this game was. I told you I was on social media doing every other thing but watching this football game because I knew once Drew Brees was up a touchdown, the Bears didn't have a chance. After the second quarter, the Bears didn't have a chance to score a touchdown. I mean, even...
Okay. They didn't. They didn't. If you want to look at it, okay, so let's go for my game notes. All right. My game notes started with, hey, watch the game on Nickelodeon. Wow. Bears defense a step slow.
Well, all their guys were there. I mean, I was surprised at how many guys were not on, how many guys the Bears were on the injured list of the Bears for that defense.
And it was like 7 players. It was ridiculous.
And then as soon as I saw Manti Te'o out there, I had to triple check, like, is that actually Manti Te'o playing for the Bears? So I knew we were in trouble at that point anyway. But kudos to the Bears defense. They did play well. They didn't break. They played well. But I think a lot of that had to do, too, was the Saints were like going, we're up. And we're not gonna put the ball in harm's way any type of way. We're just gonna matriculate the football down the field and eat up clock. And that's what it looked like that we're doing. It's like,
well, yeah, kudos to the Bears defense for holding the Saints to 7 points through the first 2
Yeah, I mean, they gave him a shot.
Look, man, the back was broken in the second half. You could see it was something that happened in the second half. And it was at a point where I'm not really sure what. I can't pinpoint at what point, but I know there was a break. Okay, so let's go back to the first half. The Javon Wims drop.
That wasn't a drop. That wasn't a drop. He didn't drop that ball.
What was it called?
That wasn't a drop. He at no point in time was that ball in any form of way caught. That ball, he whiffed on that ball. He went out there literally and did his hands like this. And he whiffed. He absolutely... Okay, so... That wasn't a drop.
Okay, originally we thought, he shouldn't get kicked out or cut for slapping a player in the head. And it was a Saints player. I think we had a show about that. We had a whole episode.
Same player that got Miller thrown out.
Yeah. So I'm really, I wasn't then, but I am assured now that Javon Wims should be cut. He should be cut tonight. He should be one of the players that was just not allowed to get back on the plane.
But he made a great catch on the sidelines the 2 plays before that. I mean, that was a great catch on the sidelines he made, getting his feet down, making that catch. Right. It was a great. This guy flat out whiffed on the ball.
So he made a great catch. Did he make a touchdown? That's the part.
He literally whiffed on the ball. I have never seen a professional wide receiver just whiff. I mean, literally, he might as well had my 8-year-old to be grandson out there ran that route. And because he looked like him trying to catch that football. I mean,
okay, it was that bad. It was that bad, but I think if you can't get the points then, I don't know. The Bears needed every point they could get.
Oh, of course,
They
but
needed everyone. And in this situation, with Williams dropping the ball, and we'll say that because whiff is not a technical term in NFL.
Oh no, he whiffed. You can call it whatever you want to call it. He whiffed on it.
Can you be cut on the sideline?
Yeah, but who else you gonna cut? You need to cut about 4 or 5 other people on there. I mean, it was just the offense. There was no offense today. I mean, so was it? Is it all Mitchell Trubisky's fault? Was it because he didn't have Mooney? He was that important out there. I mean, no Tariq Cohen. No, there was nobody out. I mean, this offense was not even pedestrian. This offense was in reverse. I mean, you had no point in time that you think this offense was going to generate any type of momentum to move this ball down the field and to possibly even get into the red zone. I mean, the best thing that the Bears have going for them is the field goal kicker. At least they've got that solved for next year. Yep. But beyond this, everything else is up for grabs. I mean, at no point in time do you think, Mitchell Trubisky is going to really start driving this ball downfield. You had wide receivers that couldn't get open. You had a running back that was doing what he could, but that is one of the best defenses, even though the Saints were missing people also. At no point in time did you think the Bears was going to rally any type of offense, and that's been the Bears' entire problem the whole entire year, especially in the second half. They look great against bad teams when they go up against good teams. And look, I'm going to tell you what, that was a mercy killing today. It was a mercy killing. Because had they somehow or another figured out how to fumble their way in and win this ball game some way, shape, or form, they were going to go up to Green Bay and get crucified. Absolutely going to get crucified. But here's the thing that's crazy about this. It was just 3 years or so ago that you had Matt Nagy was coach of the year. You had Mitchell Trubisky in the Pro Bowl, alternate. And you had Pace as being executive of the year. And we're only 3 years away removed from that. And this is the type of product that they put out on the field. I mean, it was one of these games you knew they did not have a chance. They're not going to have a chance next year if they run this same crew out here. So there's got to be some wholesale changes. The question is, are they going to make them?
Well, I'm glad that you just said that, because that leads me into where we're going with the rest of the show. Is understanding how we got here, how we got to this point. So let's look at it. Kudos to you, Matt Nagy, for being able to be in the playoffs 2 out of 3 years. Kudos to Ryan Pace for developing and putting together one of the better defenses in the league. And kudos to Mitchell Trubisky. Yes, I tip my hat to Mitchell Trubisky because we saw things we never seen. And one of the things I saw today was the prettiest pass I've ever seen Mitchell Trubisky throw, which was to Graham in the end zone for the last-second touchdown, literally, last-second touchdown. That was the best spiral I've ever seen Mitch throw, ever.
And the greatest thing about that was that Jimmy Graham just kept going. I'm out of here. Enough of that for one day.
I think that tells you all you need to know. He just went up the tunnel and never came back.
I'm out of here.
But here's you want to hear a fun fact? Fun fact. The Nickelodeon MVP was Mitchell Trubisky. He won by a landslide from voting online. So, yeah, at least he walked away with something from this year that he can hang his hat on. He was the inaugural first ever Nickelodeon MVP winner.
Wow. That's exciting. It really is.
It is exciting. It is exciting because you know what I learned about Mitchell Trubisky? I learned that he's a better passer than we thought he was. On deep balls and routes where if a receiver gets open, he can make that throw.
Oh, yeah.
I learned something else. Yeah. I learned that this is probably the last time we see Allen Robinson in a Bears uniform.
I don't know about that one.
Oh, I think I do. And I think I'm saying that only because I think what you saw in the last development, because at some point you got to get Ridley on the field. Now, I don't know what's holding you back. I don't know what, Javon Wims being huge, maybe that was a good thing, but Ridley is a real receiver, and you have not used him in
why wouldn't
3 years?
Why wouldn't they use Ridley then? I mean, I'm enlighten me on that. Why wouldn't they use? I think Ridley should have been playing, but for some reasons he couldn't break into this lineup of these fantastic wide receivers that the Bears have. So I'm not understanding why Riley Ridley was not given a shot. Expand that on a little bit. Let's see why do you think that is?
I can only guess that at some point someone in the Bears brain trust, Matt Nagy, thought that maybe there would be some kind of conflict between Allen Robinson and Riley Ridley, and you would actually have two number one receivers, which in Matt Nagy's world can't exist. You can't have two number one receivers. You can't have two great receivers, because then, who do you throw all the balls to if you've got two of them? So, no, it's just like watching the Bulls game tonight. When you watch the Bulls play the Clippers, you realize very quickly, and to Joe Cowley's point, you see a Zach LaVine who's good, but far from great. You see somebody who can make plays, but not really the big plays you need. And I think you're seeing that now with the Bears. You're seeing how this offense, I think you put everything on the table. And now you've seen everything. I think you've seen the underusage of the tight end spot. And to your point, when you said there was an anemic offense, you could still rotate. You have two of the better tight ends in the NFC. Use them and use them correctly. You had a run game that you wanted to only use one running back. Why didn't you do some more rollouts with Mitchell Trubisky? I mean, he almost picked up a first down on a busted play. Use him. He can do it. Run him out there.
Now, what?
And
now,
I'm
looking at this. This is back from when Ridley first came out, when Wims got ejected out of the game for 2 games. And they said one of the reasons why Riley Ridley doesn't play is because he doesn't contribute on special teams.
Okay.
And they're saying that their number one receivers, Robinson, Darnell Mooney, and Anthony Miller, have been performing well all year, and that somehow or another they can't get him on the field. But when he was on the field, he looked and played very well. So the thing is that how don't you move this guy into the lineup? It's silliness like this that really makes me upset with the Bears, is that you have a guy that should be in this rotation. How do you not get him in the rotation in these ball games? That we see when he gets on the field, he looks good. He catches balls. So I don't understand that. If he's not contributing on special teams, it's because you're not playing him on special teams. Find a way to put him on special teams. Put him down there as a gunner or something like that. Do something. But you need to get this guy on the field who can catch the football. It's just ridiculous thoughts like this that go on. And this is a guy who, if he doesn't stay here at the Bears, is going to go somewhere else and find his way on playing on the NFL roster and contributing. Everybody's been looking for this guy, and it's just thoughts like this going on. I don't understand that. How are you not developing this guy? How do you have him in the rotation? Is there something there that says you can't put him in the rotation? I don't understand that.
Jay, let me ask you, as a coach, if he didn't contribute on special teams, but he was a phenomenal receiver, would you use him in your offensive package?
You find a way to put that guy on the field. I've been looking for him all year. The question is, if you wanted him to play on special teams, then put him on special teams. If that's one of your things, the guys have to have multiple uses. I mean, maybe that's the reason why you have Cordero Patterson playing in the backfield when he's not really a running back. He's an all-pro. He's an all-pro receiver. See, and so this goes to a lot about what is the philosophy of the Bears. What's the philosophy? And to me, that's what that seems like. Why don't they have another running back in here? Because they just don't want Cordero Patterson. The only thing he does is return kicks. So I guess they're trying to expand the roster because they have a guy who can play more snaps so they can bring other people in. But the question is, who are these extra people that they're bringing in and how are they contributing to the Bears? Because apparently they're not in on offense because we saw what happened today when the Bears couldn't get any offense generated whatsoever. So the question has to be, are they bringing in an extra offensive lineman or something like that? I mean, but it's the philosophy that drives you nuts with the Bears, and that's the reason why you see how they play today.
Yeah. Now, I will, granted, let me say this. For the Bears defense, I might have my jokes and my giggles and ha-has, but losing Roquan Smith for them was a major blow to their defense. And still having an undisciplined defense, undisciplined offense. You know, at this point, I'll say it because I thought it was me for a minute when they, at the end of the first half, he ran off the field, and I was like, wow, I didn't know I was playing. I was like, oh, that's Akeem Hicks. He finally shaved that head off, and it looked good. So I saw him, and I thought to myself, all right, Akeem, so how many times are you going to get personal fouls? How many times are you going to do silly things that a vet wouldn't do? How many times do you get goated? And the thing with Weems, with Wims and with Miller, yeah, I cut both of you because it's my philosophy that you don't get thrown out of a game out of stupidity by the same player that you knew was going to do what he did today.
I would just
call you out.
I would just love to hear what this guy is saying because whatever he's saying, he is the best trash talker ever. I mean, literally to have people just come up and steal on you in the middle of a football field with 17 cameras around, like they were going to get what kind of foul Phil Farn is he saying to them that's getting them to snap off like that?
I'm almost convinced that he slept with Anthony Miller's mom. I'm at that point now where like he was the wayward father to his sister's child. He slapped up his aunt's dog or something, because this is just asinine and ridiculous. Yeah. It's asinine, it's ass a 10, it's ass 11, it's ass a 12. This is 13 times asinineness. It is ridiculous that you can get one player to offset you and you're so not focused. You lack so much discipline that in one of the most important games of your career, because you may not get back here, Javon Williams, you may not be on a team again. You never know. You're not that good where people have to take that many shots at you, or you'll be a practice player. So at what point did you think when you whiffed on a ball? At what point were you thinking that maybe, it's a good idea to get my head out the game? And Anthony Miller, okay, look, they just proved to you with Darnell Mooney, they can replace you. You are replaceable. You're not indispensable. And to your point, Jay, you've got Riley Ridley sitting there and Darnell Mooney. That's a heck of a tandem. That's a twosome for me. It's a little twosome, but it's a twosome.
My whole thing is where's your old school football coach who says, if this guy's talking trash, pick him out later on while the whistle hasn't been blown yet, and let's blast him a couple of times on the run play. You know what I'm saying? Where he's talking trash. Let's get him on the backside of the ball. Let's do some things like that. Let's catch him standing around a pile and put a blast on him. Let's do some things like that. I mean, there's ways to get guys back if they're talking trash. But the main fact is that if you're sitting up here and he's talking so much trash to you that you don't have any other comeback than to swing it, I don't understand. But see, again, that's the lack of discipline on this football team. And the reason why you have a lack of discipline on this football team, because you do not have a leader on this football team who is the number one guy who's going to police that locker room. Because your number one guy is going to police that locker room, and you're not going to have that nonsense going on. On the really good teams out here, you don't see that. You don't see that nonsense happening up with the Packers. You don't see that nonsense.
You can maybe obviously Mac doesn't do it, but if I'm the man, which we're assuming he is, you think Mac attack?
He's the head coach.
He's the man.
Oh, you talking about Khalil Mack?
Khalil Mack.
Oh,
yeah. I'm not going to let you keep acting a fool on defense.
Maybe he's not that guy, though.
Okay. And so maybe that's the thing with Allen Robinson when you talk about not being there. When I said he may not be there next year, if Allen Robinson is not a leader and you can find his production anywhere else, why
No, I
then
don't know if
must
you
I
can.
try and find him?
I don't know if you can find. I don't know if you can find his production. He catches the football when you throw him the football. The problem with the Bears, he just doesn't have any complement on the other side. It's going to take some of the pressure off of him. Number two,
Because he's sitting around on your bench.
This offensive
Calvin
line,
Ridley.
right? This offensive line is trash. So I mean, and you have a quarterback who can only read half the field. You know, he only can read half the field. It's like Tony Romo you could hear it because you're on Nickelodeon, but Tony Romo was talking today about look on the backside of these plays where Mitchell Trubisky's reading one side, and that's where he's throwing it. On the backside, the play is developing and opening on the backside. And so, and he said, like, you should have came back and read there. You could always go back and hit your check down. So you got Tony Romo picking that out early in the program.
He was never that type of quarterback. So for us to keep talking, because we've been talking about this time after time, he has never been that. When you drafted
Matt Nagy thought he was that guy. That's what he brought him in the quarterback PhD. That's what Matt Nagy tried to do to him early in the year was make him that guy. Then he found out he wasn't that guy. But what I'm saying is that because of that, now Allen Robinson is handcuffed out there. Unless he beats this guy on the front side of the play, Mitchell Trubisky's not coming to him on the backside. He's not getting that third read in where he could be open. And that,
so again, that makes Allen Robinson expendable, because if you don't need him to do the things that he specializes in and you only need one receiver to catch certain passes or certain ways that Mitch can run it, yeah, he's expendable. Doesn't matter because it's not going to be effective here, whatever he can do. Mm-hmm. It's like trying to teach somebody how to drive a stick and they've only had they've had an automatic their whole life. They don't know what happens when you get in third and fourth gear because they can never get it out of first and second. That is Mitchell Trubisky. We are stuck with what we have right now, unless there's a complete overhaul. And unfortunately, because the Bears have made it into the playoffs, because they are sitting where they are sitting, I doubt if there's going to be any change, especially when you're talking about having to eat money between the general manager and the head coach. I doubt that there's going to be any change, any serious change. There'll be player change, might be some coaching change, but yeah, this is what you're going to see going into next year.
Yeah,
you already can see it. Yeah,
it is what it is. I'll just give me another Facebook account, and that's how I'll watch the Bears games next year, because it's just this is going to be a team like this is sad in Chicago, but this team is going to be a 500 ball club maybe. A lot of 6 and 10. And like I said, this defense, after a while, these guys are going to be on the move after a while. They're not going to want to pay Akeem Hicks. At some point in time, Khalil Mack is going to be ready to go. He's going to be hunting for a place to go win a championship. So the Bears are not a place, especially if you're an offensive person, the Bears are not a place to come, because I think one wide receiver said a long time ago, this is where wide receivers come to die.
Yeah, Musa Muhammad was right. He is right about that. So you look at it, and I mentioned Zach LaVine earlier. There was a play today at the end of the Bulls-Clippers game where at the end, it was a few seconds left before the end of the game. The Bulls were down, I think about 4, maybe 4 or 5 points. No, they were down 3. And hero Zach LaVine tries to take a 3 at the top of the key. It hits the front of the rim and careens off. Okay. There's one problem. 4 of the Clippers players collapsed on Zach LaVine. So if 4 people are guarding one man, let's do the little math. How many other people are open?
If you play for the Bears, nobody.
Yeah. And that's the whole point when it comes to Mitchell Trubisky. If you have a quarterback who can't diagnose what happens on the backside of a play, be able to hit the crossing routes, be able to find where that outlet route is going, be able to put the ball in front of the receiver when he does a swing route instead of putting it behind him where he has to turn around, gather himself, and then try and head upfield and not know who's right in front of him. See, those are the little things that those who love Mitchell Trubisky, those who said to us on social media, I mean, you need to stop talking about Mitchell Trubisky because he took us all the way to the playoffs. Man, he's a great quarterback. He's wonderful. Okay, your wonderful quarterback only had less than 200 yards passing today and 1 touchdown.
Yeah, and the issue was you never thought at any point in time that Mitchell Trubisky was going to lead the Bears on a scoring drive.
No. It's not like when you look at Baltimore and you look at what they have there, you say you have a quarterback who at some point is a direct threat running. You know that he can throw, but you know he runs as well as he throws. You know Mitch can scramble out, but you're not worried about it because you don't design plays for him to use his ability.
Yeah, it was just like
set plays for him.
It was just like that one play when he was running. I think it was 4th and 4. Might have been 4th or 6, and he was like, let's go stretch and get that first down. Mm-hmm. Did he forget where the marker was? I mean, I'm like, dude, go get the first down. That's why you're running in there. Go get it. Go sell out. Go up in there and go get it. You know.
But I think if we look back at the tape now, and we'll have to review the tape and look at the play call again, I don't believe that was a design run play. I believe that was a busted play, which he ran to try and get the first down. Understood. Now, to your point, I understand you have to reach out and get that first down. You have to get it. But even to that degree, you're saying, why didn't you put more naked bootlegs in? Why didn't you put bootlegs, the rolls where he could go and, hey, have some, what was that term that they used when they hired Matt Nagy? RPO. Yeah, how about trying some of that? Like, how about Bears defensive coordinator, when you see Taysom Hill come into the game, it's a run. If he tries to pass, it's a run.
That one that Taysom Hill, they called that a fumble. Taysom Hill had his wide receiver wide open across. They did sell out on the run on Taysom Hill. Had they not got to him and tipped that ball, that would have been a touchdown. So the thing about it is Taysom Hill at least controlled the football.
The one in the end zone?
The one that when Taysom Hill lost the fumble when his arm got hit.
Okay.
Had the guy not hit his arm, that was a touchdown. And because they were in zero coverage out there. So and the Bears were beat by about 7 yards.
Yeah, so, they were also beat every time he came and ran on the field. 9 times out of 10, I think they only stopped 1 out of 4 times when he tried to rush. You pretty much have a good idea. Play a safety high. If he's going to pass, that's fine. But how do you get caught in no man's zone? How do you say, I don't know really what he's going to do, and then Taysom Hill picks up 6 to 8 yards?
Well, the problem is with the Bears, we don't have the signal callers out there on defense. These guys are just dropping into a boatloaded zone. And after a while, these quarterbacks, even at Taysom Hill, after a while, these guys can figure out they're going to pick apart that zone out there. And you just saw the Bears. This is one of the worst tackling exhibitions I've seen in a long time. Guys were just whiffing in air. I mean, they were coming up and just Manti Te'o. I can't tell you how many times he whiffed out.
You and my nephew are gonna get off of Manti Te'o. Okay, it is not his fault that he got on the field. It is his fault that he got catfished, but it is not his fault that he was held out there and couldn't make a touchdown by intercepting a ball. It didn't matter. He was
whiffing like you could not believe. I mean, he would come up and close and like you're playing linebacker in the NFL. You just came up and tackle a guy with his back to you. Mm-hmm. It's like just whiffing. I mean, absolutely just whiffing. So it was. But again, you had so many guys out for the Bears at some point in time. Unless we put some points up on the board, there wasn't a chance to win this ball game. Now, as you said before, there isn't a chance that they're going to that Matt Nagy is not going to be here. Pace is going to be here. Trubisky's going to be here, and we're going to come back and do this again next year.
Yeah, we're going to run it back. And they're probably going to sign Allen Robinson. I mean, that's your best bet. That's your only free ticket. That's your big free agent, big ticket that you have. And it's going to be the same thing. Now, hopefully, maybe again next year, they get fortunate and teams get run over by buses on their way to games, or, whole stadiums disappear. Whatever it may be that will get the Bears to 8-8 again and somehow pick up some wild card game. But this, Bears fans, welcome to 2021. This is the Bear. Yeah, this is America.
For the next 3 or 4 years. I mean, it's like, Titletown, USA. We are not.
I'm just trying to figure out how difficult can it be to find someone who understands offense? How difficult? And it just boggles my mind. How difficult can you make it to find an offensive, not even genius, just an offensive, a normal guy who can figure out defenses and offenses?
Well, I mean, the thing about it is, in the NFL, these guys that coach at these levels and these guys are the best of the best. And when you find yourself in the middle of the pack or lower pack, there's a whole bunch of guys out here coaching in college and every other place like this that can nowhere do any better than what we got right here. The problem is we got to hit on one of these guys like a quarterback. We got to hit on one of these upper echelon guys who can put the personnel together to run their schemes and can make something happen. You saw the Patriots without Tom Brady not making it into the playoffs. And so now you got to wonder around, and Bill Belichick is supposed to be one of the greatest offensive minds of all time. Can he now put together a team that could possibly get back to the playoffs? We'll wait and see. So a lot of it has to do with the personnel that you have. It's hard to find these guys. It's just like Leno. We talk about him at tackle, but it's hard to replace that guy. Because there just aren't that many guys running around that can play in the NFL or coach in the NFL.
Yeah, it's a difficult task. But I know one thing that can't be replaced, and what cannot be replaced is J Sizzle. And G Sizzle, we are the Sizzle, the talk of the 219. We're the hottest talk in the 219. And I'd like to encourage you and thank you. If you've subscribed, shared, and liked our program, please, thank you. But if you have not, this is the time for you to like, share, and subscribe. You can find us on any social media platform where you look for us at Iron Skillet Sports or hashtag #Skillet_sports. There you can find us on any place that you find any of your multimedia platforms. We are there. And podcasts, we are there also. Just look for us again at Iron Skillet Sports. And, Jay, we're going to leave this episode on an upbeat and really positive swing. Yeah, I got nothing for you. I got nothing for you. I can't even. There is nothing I can say to you that would leave this as a more positive note.
I think next year I'm going to put on a Bears uniform, and I'm going to just have some big hands with holes in them, and so I'm going to go out there and be Javon Weems.
With that said, you're listening to The Sizzle here on